the big challenges today is balancing prosperity and looking after our environment. And it's not just a problem for adults to solve, kids should also be across it. Well, that's the notion that sees Arron Wood and his dad, Richard, travel across Australia to encourage school children to think about the environment in a programme called Kids Teaching Kids. Let's welcome them now to Studio 10. Gentlemen.
Thank you.
So, Arron, how do you get kids engaging with other kids and then imparting what they've learned?
Well, I guess, like the name says, Kids Teaching Kids is all about kids grabbing a topic, what they do. It could be waste, it could be energy, it could be water, it could be biodiversity, climate change, it could be, you know, what our politicians are arguing about this week. And they research that topic in many different ways, and then what they have to do is think about how to teach others. And I guess that's the key of Kids Teaching Kids, is that, you know, we've had 100,000 kids through the program since 1999. It's been huge.
That's incredible.
But the wonderful thing about it is they take these really complex issues and they boil them down into ways that they only understand. So, you know, it's not a boring lecture by an adult. In these kids' workshops on their environmental topics, there's dance, there's drama, there's, you know, raps and poetry and...
Take off of television programs.
Yeah, exactly. So
they'll have Studio 10 and they'll be talking about environmental issues.
Yep.
So there you go.
Richard, what's it been like working with your son?
I think it's everyone's dream, isn't it, as a father, to work with his son. It started off just a really nice, small get-together, and then it's just developed and developed. And unfortunately, now it's so wide that we're at other ends of the country. So
you're not actually working side by side.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and 100,000 kids that have been through this program, that's an enormous amount of kids.
And everyone's an individual too, so that's a nice bit. And that's the good thing about being a father, because you can see them as individuals rather than just as a school principal where you see a great group of kids.
Yeah.
And Richard, that's what I love about your story and your son's story, that you know, you were a teacher, you were a school principal.
he was my school principal, actually. So.
And now to think that you're working together and sharing this incredible thing together, what is that like? What's that like, Arron?
It's amazing. Yeah, as I said, Dad was my primary school principal, so I sort of say the only good thing about that was when I forgot my lunch money that I could go and see him. I can honestly say I wasn't the world's best behaved child, so I was in his office quite a bit, not for the Gold Star Award or anything like that, but usually for behavioural issues, wasn't it, Dad?
Absolutely.
But to work with him...
Now Arron was usually the thing.
Look now.
What's he done there? But to work with your dad, I mean, I get a bit emotional about it now because I think when you're a child, you think your parents are just going to be there forever, and I sort of had almost this epiphany or realisation that, you know, one day they wouldn't be here. I mean, he's still got a few years yet, though, Dad. So, he's still looking pretty good. But to share those moments, you know, when we're on the road in, you know, places like Tamworth and Inverell and up into the remote Northern Territory, taking the Kids Teaching Kids program into schools and doing that with your father is just a really special time. Lots of laughs, but, you know, my admiration... See, I'll get a bit emotional. My admiration for him as an educator is right up here. I mean, 35 years as an educator, but my admiration for him as a dad is always much higher than that.
So. That's beautiful.
And you've given us a bit of an idea about some of the things that are involved in Kids Teaching Kids. Richard, when you go to schools right across the country, what is it that you teach them or that you show them?
Well, it's not really a teaching policy. It's really just going in there and saying, OK, what do you know first of all? What do you know about an issue? And you'll be surprised how much they do know. And one of the things that we actually do is we underestimate what they do know and what they can achieve. So we set the bar really high and we say, OK, let's come up to that. And how best can you teach other people? So what do you like best? I like drama. I like the fact of being able to show off. I like technology. I like the maths and problem solving. So, OK, structure a program for other kids that takes in those sort of strengths. I like laughing.
One of the things, yes, I want to be in your classroom.
And kids learn from kids, teachers from teachers, business people from business people. So peer teaching is one of the highest forms of learning that you can get.
And I think if you get to the kids, you get to the problem and they keep...
Yes.
Passing it on.
Exactly.
They'll get their parents to stop smoking, stop littering, everything.
And we call it pest to power, Denise, and pest to power. It worked very well indeed.
Yeah, good on you.
Gentlemen, exemplary work that you're doing. Thank you very much for being here, Arron and Richard Wood.